Hey everyone, it's August 13th, about 6:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USDT on the Binance exchange, the Bitfinex exchange. And the first thing I got to say is that this is not investment advice. Second of all, I talked about the selling pressure in this market. That there's going to be continued downside. I think there's going to be a lot of volatility during that. That volatility is going to come in the form of more than likely a bear flag. The zone to hold right now is right around 60.80 or so. If we start to dip through there, more than likely we're coming down to retest the 57.55, which is the bottom on Bitfinex. If we smash through 57.55, price is going to continue sliding downward into the low to mid 5,000 range. Beyond that, we're talking like 4,000s, mid 4,000 range. It would not be good. But right now, at this time, anything below 57.50 is just pure fantasy. Even though I think we're heading lower, I've talked about this, that I had a bearish over like a macro perspective, like was bearish on Bitcoin due to what's happening in price. We have blatant manipulation in price. You go back to the charts. You can just see it, and I've broken it down in my prior videos, so I don't want to just keep beating the dead horse of manipulation, but we just, at the end of the day, it really comes down to as simple as this. There are more sellers in the market than there are buyers in the market. We're flattening out, meaning that we're moving to a point to where it's going to take longer for Bitcoin to make these moves that everyone's expecting. Everyone's looking back here, anticipating this. The reality of this market is this: downward movement, consolidation, and then more than likely an explosion from that consolidation, but it's going to take time, and that is something I talk about in my prior videos. Time is a huge element here that a lot of people are not accounting for. It's the same thing that happened in the bubble phase after the dot-com bubble. Comparing the NASDAQ, the dot-com stage to Bitcoin is like comparing apples and oranges. But just to have some context, what I'm trying to say is that it took 15 years for that market to recover and take off, right? Doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to take 15 years to recover and take off, but there is a process that Bitcoin and the rest of the market is going to undergo, and that is the process of recapturing the energy expended. And energy is expended through price movement. Vertical price movement, it gets expended. It gets recaptured during vertical price movement to the downside or horizontal price action. Bitcoin has made an enormous run. When you start to look at this from all the way back in the beginning, we start getting into the low, the low hundreds and so forth, all the way into 20,000. This is a massive move. A lot of energy was expended during this, mentally, physically, through actual money, and it has to get recaptured. It's going to take a long process. Bitcoin did not get to 20,000 overnight. It's not going to get to 20,000 overnight again. It's going to take time to do so. If I break out the weekly chart, look at this. Look at this massive move, and everyone is believing the media, and the media is like, hey, look up here, look over here, and they're just like, here, listen to us, Bitcoin is going to the moon, it's going to the moon, and it never does, it never does, because the biggest problem is that this energy getting expended, first of all, is vertical price movement. Basic charting, vertical price movement typically gets retraced. Typically it's 100%. This is more of a chimney formation than anything. But what that means is that if it does not get retraced fully, meaning Bitcoin does not come back down to like 800 or 600 or something like that, then it has to build out this level playing field, like for lack of better words, this platform for that energy to consolidate around before exploding back up. And guess what that means? Time. And a lot of it, right? We exploded. I mean, Bitcoin, look at that. From 2014, 2018, 4 years, it did this massive move. If Bitcoin went horizontal for 4 years, overall, yes, there will be whips up and down. But if it went horizontal for 4 years, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It would just be normal. No one's accounting for that. People don't talk about it because it doesn't attract subscribers. Everything's, like on the YouTube and like on mainstream media and stuff. They want viewers. They want people tuning in. They want retail traders getting hyped up. Hang on real quick. My son opened my door. But they want retail traders getting hyped up. They want to, they want to sell the sizzle, but there's no stake. It's just an illusion at this time. And it's not that I think it's the end of Bitcoin, but I'm trying to stress the factor that I don't really think anyone's really paying attention to this time element. No one wants to talk about it because it's boring to talk about. Who in the right mind wants to wait to make their money? No one does. No person says, okay, I'll just wait to make my money. Everyone wants it now. Like, they want to use it to pay bills. They want to use it to go, buy things, go on vacation, etc. Like, people want it now. Like, this whole world is guaranteed toward now. It's a very fast world we live in. Expectations are so high across the board that everyone is looking for this. And this is why the retail traders continuously fall prey to the traps that get laid by the market, right? And again, like, the mainstream media is one of the biggest culprits. Now, on top of that, we keep having this volume come in and out of this market. So it comes in, comes out, comes in, comes out. I noticed it here. I noticed it here. I'm noticing it here. Yet once again, it does not lead to a happy ending, right? This market is being artificially inflated to the upside, and it keeps toppling over and over and over again because less and less people are showing up. So beside the chart clearly showing everybody that can look at a chart, you don't need any lines. We don't need to worry about anything on this chart, right? Remove all the lines from the chart. What do you see? A potential basing area, but overall, sellers are dominating this market, right? Lower highs, lower lows. That is what we see in this market at this level. So what's going to happen, what I believe over the short term, like the next couple days, probably like going into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is we will probably whip back and forth. But overall, I definitely think we're going down to revisit 5750. And the question is, do we bust through that zone? If we do, we have much further to fall. Now, the altcoins are already dropping to lower levels. They are smashing through their local lows, like their most recent lows, and they continue to set lower and lower lows. They are falling off a cliff, and I talked about that. As Bitcoin made this move, I said the alts got attacked by the bears. They're telling us, do not go that way. Bitcoin was not listening, went that way, and is now getting murdered by the bears with the alts. However, the alts are just getting beat ahead of time. And they're currently, as I'm speaking, getting absolutely obliterated yet once again. I mean, we got NEO down 13.5%, IOTA down 15.3%, Bitcoin Cash down 8.25%, EOS down 9.5%, Ethereum down 11.3%, Litecoin down only 5%, which, Litecoin's kind of hanging in there amongst the group, but it does not look good from a short-term perspective. So the same way I urged caution on my last video, I'll do it this video. I don't mean to talk about doom and gloom. It's just this is the reality of this market. And until the blatant manipulation leaves this market, which would cause severe pain in this market, and it's not going to leave because the exchanges 100% rely on your money coming in and out of them. Transactional fees. Look at all the money these big exchanges are making. That'll tell you why there is a huge incentive to keep this market alive. It's not that I think the demise for Bitcoin is on the horizon. It's just the nature of this beast, and whoever is producing these moves is doing them very well calculated and almost to the same 4-hour bar time frames, which just goes to show you that it's just blatant manipulation of this market. So there's still money to be made, don't get me wrong, but the whole process of recapturing that energy just gets elongated because it's being artificially inflated up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's going to be one of the biggest things for everyone to realize, is that it's going to take much longer. And I've been talking about this time element for a long time, and this market is clearly flattening out, right? It's clearly flattening out. If we start to break below 57.50 and go lower, then something else is happening in the market, and it's going to take longer for Bitcoin to flatten out and produce that energy it needs to explode back upward and rival that 20,000 level in the future. And the reason why I say that is you can just look at the chart, that if we start to drop below this level, we have much further to fall before we base out. And then from there, we could produce a move up once again. But again, I think it's a very, very, very long time before Bitcoin gets anywhere near 20,000. And the chart is clearly showing you the overall direction of the money flow between buyers and sellers. It's showing you where the energy is going, and the energy is dwindling. And the only people telling you that it's going higher are, first of all, the so-called experts and the mainstream media and people across social media that are looking to attract new eyes and get new prey on their table, and they don't really care what they have to do to get it, and they're selling everybody a pack full of lies every single time and time again. They're out here pretending they're your friends, and they are not. Like, this is what they are, like creepy demons just saying it's going to 20,000, it's going to 50,000, it's going to 100,000. But the reality of it is, when you look at the chart, it's all going down. Not that it's the end, but it's going to be very tough to make money from the long side, and Bitcoin has a tough road ahead of it while it consolidates to build that energy necessary to break back up. And with that said, we also have pressure from this area and pressure from this area. So the energy is getting compacted, right? It's getting squished, and as it's getting squished, it's neither going to be, it cannot be destroyed, so it has to go somewhere else. And where it's going to go is either up or down. And that's why I say, if we break below this 57.50 range area and we smash through the fives, we could have a waterfall event occur in Bitcoin like so, maybe even deeper. And that's really going to reset this bottoming process. Because what do you think is going to happen to the market if the market starts to collapse out? Who's going to want to touch it with a 100-foot pole? There's going to be the crowd that's, like, oh yeah, I'm going to get mega rich. I can't wait for it to get down there. But I guarantee you, everyone's saying they want to buy Bitcoin here if it pans out this way. Understand, this is pure fantasy, hypothetical situation. I can guarantee you that no one will buy it on the way down. Very few people will, right? I think people with small money, they don't care about, they'll just be like, whatever. I was going to go waste on alcohol anyways or something like that, right? Like small money. Anyone with significant money during this time, I highly doubt is going to be like, this is a buying opportunity, because what's going to happen is panic will ensue, and the sentiment will go from what I've talked about, how everyone's extremely bullish in this market. Not like everybody, but a lot of people have this crazy hopium, like there's guaranteed money to be made in this market, and there's no guaranteed money in any market except for the stock market. I think that one's guaranteed, that one's saved. But anyways, you can ride some crazy roller coaster events in the stock market. But this market, everyone talks about like just enter, hold, you're going to be a trillionaire no matter where you enter, because Bitcoin's going to be 500 billion gazillion dollars in the future. Don't worry about it. Once this starts to unfold, if it does unfold this way, again, this is hypothetical, the frenzy of bearish sentiment will reach a level that no one can even comprehend at this moment. So that's further into the future. If we hold this area, again, like I've said in my prior videos, I do think it will be a positive indication for Bitcoin as we're basing out that energy is compressing, and as that energy compresses, it explodes either way. If we get an explosion upward, I do think we could rival that 20,000 top, but I can tell you I highly, highly, highly doubt it's going to be anywhere in 2018. I'm sure it'll come out to mid or later 2019 if it does happen this way, and then boost up from there to possibly run, maybe even into 2020 or later than that. It's really going to depend on what this chart does. I mean, that's so far down the line that I don't really want to get into that because I'm using a 4-hour chart to talk to everybody on. But again, it's going to be a tough trade in the meantime, and we're at a very critical area in Bitcoin that's really going to determine the future of this market. If we get a big pop from the area, great. If not, we are going to start to drop lower, and once that happens, there could be severe panic in the market, leading to a washout, leading to true capitulation, which is what these alts are doing right now. And they keep dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and everyone's waiting for them to stop dropping, but they keep dropping, and they're going to continue dropping. And as they continue dropping, it's really going to wash a lot of people out. And then from there, through the chaos, the market will rise again to eventually rival what I think is the current top at 20,000, and maybe even go higher than that in the near future, in the distant future, I should say. But there's going to be a lot of pain and punishment during this process because the overall trend is down in Bitcoin. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. If you guys like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, follow. I thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. I'll produce another video Wednesday evening if you're looking for something more in depth on these charts, where I talk about specific entries, stop losses, etc., profit targets for Bitcoin and various other cryptocurrencies. I do have my site, geometriccharts.com. It's a subscription service with no contracts or anything like that. Also on my site, I do have my social media links to my YouTube, my Twitter, and then the Slack channel as well too. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. I'll talk to everybody Wednesday.